And the mic is yours, inshallah.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. First of all, disclaimer, I will not be talking about ICNA Relief. I was just talking to the Sheikh that my topic is all too different. It's about faith and family. But when you make an announcement that CEO of ICNA Relief USA is talking, people think that he may be here to collect some funds. And even those who regularly attend program, they tend to leave. So it's altogether different thing. But all of our activities, they are interconnected and interrelated. So today, inshallah, will be... So before I talk about the family in Islam, we have to talk about our faith first. And it is important to understand, and some of the things we already know, but just to reconnect and having a comprehensive picture that our deen, our faith, its foundation is primarily upon three things. And first and foremost is Tawheed. Concept of Tawheed in Islam is not, there are other religions as well. They say that we believe in one God. But it is more than that. It's very comprehensive concept. And just to recap, I will not have time to go in all those details, but it's important that we just remind ourselves and continue to remind ourselves, and in our prayers, in every prayer, particularly our reading of Surah Al-Fatiha, and from Ruku and Sujood, continuously we remind ourselves of the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, about His powers. He is our creator, our master, our sustainer. And it doesn't end over there. The belief in one God in many faiths, they believe in that He is creator, they say at least that He is master and sustainer, but generally it ends over here. As if He subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the universe. By our mouth we say that He is our provider, He is sustainer, but in actuality what happens that sometimes we also tend to do that, but in many other faiths, it is that He has created and now, God forbid, I'm just paraphrasing it, that as He has tired, and now someone else has to run the affairs of the universe. And that someone else is us, that we are smarter as human, we have advanced so much, and now we run this universe according to our whims and our desires and our plans. And that's where all that famous phrase that give the God what is His due and give the Caesar what is his due. That's the way this world is run. That's the way this mindset, and it continuously, that mindset is a very perpetual and regular effort on that to strengthen this ideology, even by mouth. Continuously they keep saying, and some of us keep saying that we believe in one God, but our concept of Tawheed is that we believe in Him, we unconditionally surrender to His authority. He is all knowledgeable, He is all powerful, He don't get tired. He has the full control of this universe and nothing is hidden from Him. So our concept of Tawheed is very comprehensive. Second, we believe that He has not created us without a purpose. We are here in this life for a short period of time, and we are created for a purpose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself in his book used this word, that do you think that I have created you just أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَكُمْ عَبَثًا, that without any purpose we have created you? And that purpose of creation also has described in many places. Just Surah Mulk, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Just in 2-3 words, that purpose has been described. That we have sent you in this world for a test. Now, whenever we talk about a test, 2 things comes in mind. One is that what is the curriculum of that test? And answer is right away that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not left us without a message, without guidance, without that curriculum. The first human being in the Islamic perspective, that's part of our belief, that the first human being, our father, Adam alayhi salam, he was a prophet and messenger, he was divinely guided. And all human beings, they are created with the ability to judge between right and wrong. So guidance was always there, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's His divine and wise plan, that He sent one after another prophet and messengers, because we human are created that we tend to forget, we tend to follow our desires and lusts. So we tend to forget this message, and He subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His great plan and great wisdom, He continuously sent messengers one after another, that whenever humanity lost that message, they were at a disconnect at that level, He sent another messenger and prophet to reconnect them, to remind them. Their job of the prophets, they don't have the control upon the hearts, because we are here in a place of test, all the means are provided. Their job was to remind. And then this is also part of our belief that Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is the last and the final messenger. And this is very important concept in the concept of Risalah. There is no prophet and messenger coming after him. So that job of connecting the mankind with the Creator and reminding them that you are not here without a purpose, reminding them that your success is in unconditional surrender to your Creator, Qulu la ilaha tuflihu, that job rests upon the shoulder of this ummah, upon us. So this is very important, that when we talk about our family and future, we reconnect with our faith. And now in this, just for better understanding, because this is a very fundamental concept which is unique only for our ummah. When Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina, you know that first 16 and in other variation 17 months, believers were praying facing toward Baitul Maqdis. And one day, in the middle of the prayer, those verses were revealed which talk about the change of direction toward Baitullah, the direction to which we face today. Now in the middle of those verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the very important thing, that it's not mere change of direction. All directions belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, it is a very significant event, and it signifies that now it's the change of the leadership. That leadership of the mankind which rested with the Prophet to guide them, to invite them, and to be a living model and living proof and living testimony of that message that now come to this ummah. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. That title and honor and responsibility of being shuhada al-nas, which was for the prophets before, now that has changed, and now that leadership has come to you. So right in the middle of those verses, this part of the verse, it is there for a reason. And then in different places we are given this title of Ummatun Wast, Khair Ummah. But all those places where this title is, it is qualified with Amr bil Maruf wa Nahy anil Munkar. That job of those prophets, which was before Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, now this is the collective responsibility of this Ummah, that they have to not only follow this deen, learn and practice, and learn and master and practice, and be a living testimony of this message. Rather, they have to make a collective effort to connect mankind with the Creator. And then Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in his last sermon, he reminded that all those companions, 124,000 plus minus whatever that number was, that one of the last word of the Prophet ﷺ was that he first asked them that, have I delivered the message? And they unanimously said yes. And then Prophet ﷺ said those very important words for this ummah, that those who are over here, those who are present, they deliver the message, those who are not present. And he said that maybe those who are not present, they might have better understanding of the things. Some of them, not necessarily, by and large, the first generation, the companions, they are trained and taught by Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they are the best of the people. But Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at the same time said that there will be people in the last days that who individually, maybe many of, individually, they may be better. In many hadiths we hear that, and it is due to that greatness is due to that responsibility, that if they deliver, those who come after the companions and those who come this time and after us, even during our time, those who deliver this job, they will be honored and they will have a great status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like the companions are even better. These are not my words, these are the words of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Now to sum this up, that our deen is not an individual deen. This is a complete way of life. And upon these three foundations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a complete way of life till the day of judgment. Over here, sometimes people think and try to prove things which are not intended. Complete way of life for mankind's guidance, for mankind to live successfully in this life and be successful on the day of judgment. It does not mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, and that's not needed for as a complete guidance. Sometimes people try to prove the science and medicine and biology and computer science for the Quran. Complete way of life means that complete code of guidance, a comprehensive, consistent code of guidance, which will be always applicable for the mankind. It has very few basic things. Two important aspects of our deen, that every soul is responsible for their own actions. No one else, like in other faiths, that someone else will take the responsibility of your actions. No. In our deen, la wizratum wizra ukhra. No one else is going to take the responsibility. Everyone is responsible for their actions, and they will be rewarded or punished. They will be judged according to their whatever they have done. Second, all in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are equal. That concept which humanity learned after 1400 years, Prophet ﷺ gave these principles 1400 years ago. That each one is responsible, all are equal, and affairs will be run with the shura. وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَ بَيْنَهُمْ. This is a very important and fundamental principle in our deen. So these are the fundamental principles. If they are upheld for any community, for any society, with the sense of accountability that will be judged and will be responsible on the day of judgment, that gives the complete code of life. There are a lot more details, but nothing more is needed. Human, intrinsically, they are created with the ability, human society, human civilization, it will continue to advance. It will continue to learn new things, invent new things, develop new technologies for its betterment. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, time and again, it's told even in our book that everything around you is created for your benefit. You do tadabbur, you do tafakkar in this universe, and everything around you is for your benefit. So it's not the job of the Quran, and this is not, unfortunately, sometimes this is very wrong direction that we try to prove science and other things from Quran. Principles, they matters. So these are the principles of our deen, that all necessary guidelines and guidance which is needed for the humanity to live a meaningful life over here, a progressive, meaningful life, and to be successful on the day of judgment. That's our faith. And this is the basis of any successful society, and particularly we are talking about our society. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned and cautioned us that inna ad-deena indallahi al-Islam, that He is وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ, that He wants complete and unconditional full surrender. That you have to follow this deen in totality, and this is deen in totality. That unconditional surrender to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the way of the Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and those teachings which in principle are very few. As long as we follow them, there will be success in this life and in the hereafter, and this completes our deen. Now, that same principle in one verse of the Quran, in very beautiful manner, that has been explained. Allazina makkannahum fil ard iqamatus salat wa ita'uz zakat wa amaru bil ma'ruf wa nahu anil munkar. Now the mufassirin, when explain this verse, tamakkan fil ard, over here in this verse and wherever in Quran is used, that when believers have given the full authority on the land, mean they run the affair on the land, they have the government, they do primarily three things. So Deen talk about those three principles. And also, this is the beauty of Quran, that the meanings are very comprehensive and address every situation. Tamakkan also means the possibility that whenever believers are allowed to function, they have reasonable level of functionality, they do these three things. And that level of functionality can reach to the highest level, that where you have the full authority. Primarily three things. What are those? Allazina makkannahum fil ard iqamatus salat wa ita'uz zakat wa amaru bil ma'ruf wa nahu anil munkar. Now we can say that if Deen has so many ahkam and so many things, why only three things are mentioned when you have the full authority on the land? From Hajj, from the family affairs, all those principles are covered over here. That one is for the believers, wherever their community is functional. One is as-salat, it signifies talaq billah. That community, that society, that family, those individual, one significant aspect of their life is that individually and collectively they are known as people who has a creator. They worship Him openly and freely, they worship Him publicly, and they make it publicly known. So whenever there are believers, individually we have to pray, and whenever there are more than one, we have to pray together. When Prophet ﷺ moved to Medina, the first thing he did, he established masjid. So, talaq billah, all that make a complete iqamatus salat, establishing the masajid, establishing the institution of learning of deen. That's part of. Then Ita'u zakat over here, that if deen is total deen, it's not just giving 2.5% at the end of the year, that the believers are those people who fulfill the rights of the other. They are at the giving end. Believer as a collectively, even when they are poor, they are at the giving end, not at the receiving end. Community of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in Medina was the poorest community. Even after many victories, the situation was that sometime in the household, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, months would pass, there was no regular meal, the kind of 3 luxurious meal, 4 luxurious meal we enjoy every day. Companion, their situation was that Sayyidina Abu Huraira, it's narrated from him, and he is the one who accepted Islam in the last years. He said that sometime the situation would be, and it was not only him, many others among the Ashab al-Sufa and many other companions, that sometime I would fall down on the streets of Medina and people will step over me thinking that I'm intoxicated. But days and days have passed and nothing has entered into my system because there was not much food. So this was the situation. But whenever any tribe in the neighborhood run out of food and water, there's a drought, people come to Medina. They don't go to the rich people of Quraysh or the rich tribes of Banu Nuzair and Banu Qurayza, who are very rich, but they come to the community of Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam will give the call and people give. So it was the community which was known as the people who are at the giving end, who are in the khair in the society, and slowly in the beginning, majority of the people around Medina, they were not Muslims, but slowly people accepted Islam, they saw this. This is the second aspect. The third aspect, Amr bil Maruf, it's very open that whatever your domain is, over there you have to enjoin good, enforce good, and forbid people from evil based upon your capabilities. If your capability is that you have the power to enforce those things, then Amr bil Maruf and Nahu anil Munkar, it has dimensions to even the implementation of the Hudud. From Dawah to Jihad, all that things are covered within that perspective. And if there's a legitimate, responsible Islamic state, it has much higher responsibility. If there's a community, it has limited resources, limited mandate, it has limited responsibility. If there's a family, head of the household, he has limited mandate and limited responsibility. They have to enforce those within their role. If somebody go beyond that, if there's no legitimate, responsible Islamic state and somebody declaring jihad or doing those things which are meant for that, they are going out of bound. They are not following deen. They are going beyond their responsibilities. Similarly, in the household, father's responsibility is not to, a father as the head of the household cannot implement hudud in that, okay, somebody made a mistake, now I'm doing all those things. No. He will be going beyond his mandate, he or she as a mother, and they are not doing a good deed, rather they are doing a sinful thing. So I want to connect that next to the family, that deen as a comprehensive deen. These are the 3 parameters. 1, strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, both at individual level and collective level. And second, connecting with the humanity, starting with your own family by fulfilling their rights to the best of your capability. And third, connecting with the society and humanity at large, delivering that message. And do you deliver that message to the capability and responsibility you have? A government, Muslim government, will have different responsibility. A collective community which have a lot of resources, it will have different level and responsibility and mandate, and a family. But each one of them at every level, at individual level and collective level, there are responsibilities. Now let's move to the family. Family is the building block of any society. And in Islamic society, family is not just that 2 people get together and they make a contract. It is a divinely inspired institution. And 1/3 of the ahkam of the deen, the regulations, they deal with the family. From And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left no aspect of the family which is not addressed. First and foremost, that verse which in many times, in most of the Jummah times, that has been recited, describing that family is a sacred institution. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has coupled, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ, that it is mentioned as a very sacred institution, sacred responsibility. Whenever word taqwa is used, it means that something very serious. And then hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there is so much text. I just want to make this point, that nikah is my sunnah. The second aspect, that this social contract, it comes with the rights and the responsibility. And in the hadith, that kullukum ra'i wa kullukum mas'ool, special mention of the head of the household, their responsibilities. And family as an institution, that which ensure the perpetuality and continuity of the human race in meaningful way. So in our deen, it's very fundamental part of the deen, and they are so intertwined and interconnected, as the word used in Arabic and some other language, lazmu malzoom. One is the necessary condition for the other. We cannot preserve. That's why Prophet ﷺ has called just the nikah as the perfection of your deen. Individuals, sometimes there may be individual exceptions, or there could be individuals, but collectively a society where, there cannot be an Islamic society collectively. There may be here and there one individual. Of course, in humanity, there are individuals who are handicapped, who might have one issue or the other. But collectively, a healthy society is one where people are healthy and working. Everybody has 2 eyes, 2 hands, 2 feet. Their mental capabilities are there. But as an exception, there may be few people. Just imagine a society which all the society is handicapped, where everybody is blind, where everybody is mentally autistic. Can that, a functional society can be like that? So similarly, individual exception aside, there cannot be an Islamic society, Islamic community, where family as a unit, the way Prophet ﷺ has told us, is not there. And where every member of the, by and large, majority of member of that society practice this as an institution. So family in Islamic perspective is, as I use the term again, the divinely inspired institution. And that's why there is so much from nikah and from talaq, from inheritance, even so minor things which are related to the family, that if the dispute between husband and wife about the child, that how much time he will be, mother would be milking the child, even those matters, minor things have been mentioned in Quran. So much emphasis on the family. So preservation and continuance of the home in Islamic perspective, this is fundamental. Protection of the morals. There may be some additional benefits, but I'm talking with the perspective of the obligation and responsibility. There are benefits as well. And if those benefits are not there, just imagine that why Islam gave so much emphasis on the family, that if family is not there, then moral standard of the society would automatically will go down and will finish at a certain level. So these are the continuation of the human race, protection of the morals, psycho-emotional stability, love and kindness, social and economic security, motivation for efforts and sacrifice. These are all related to the family. If family is not strong and these fundamental principles are not understood and not practiced, then there's no deen. So family and deen, they are so intertwined and so interconnected that weakness in one would lead to the weakness of the others. Few weeks ago, I was in Charleston. We have a clinic over there. And alhamdulillah, that clinic is one full-time clinic, and it's serving it is in the community. Charleston is, Muslim community is very small. And that clinic was declared the best. It was awarded, and it was mentioned even in some of the national media, the CBS and ABC, as the best model clinic. It's a clinic of ICNA Relief, Shifa Clinic. You can even Google it. Mayor of the city, we opened a new building, and mayor of the city, he originally came from, first, he did not come. When these people come, it's not, we are not looking for these things. But when you do good service in the society, as I mentioned in my khutbah, that they are recognized and appreciated. And that's one way of dawah, that opened many doors. He came for 5 minutes, but subhanAllah, he came, he saw the services, he stayed there for an hour and a half. And he even listened all my boring speech for a long time. And of course, I mentioned our values, all those things. One thing I mentioned over there and just want to repeat. And after that, for a long time, he discussed with me. I said that the humanity at this time, it's not the global warming. It's not the terrorism. One of the largest and the biggest challenge which humanity is facing is the declining and deteriorating family. And whatever we see this in the name of the free society and the name of all these nonsense which is coming, and it's coming to us as well, this human right and equality and issues of LGBT and all that. We are not immune from that. I talking to him, and I said very frankly, I said that just imagine what you are perpetuating. He belonged to Democratic Party, what you are promoting. Just imagine that everybody, this marriage of men with men, women with women, that happen, what will be the end result? Where will be the humanity? Where will be the future generations? I don't know publicly, but privately he agreed all those things, and he said that I never thought in that perspective. I just gave him the Islamic perspective, that why Islamic perspective on the family is so strong, and Muslim community generally don't compromise, and we should not. Why the Muslim community is so strongly against these things. I just said that this aspect is, we have to understand, and we have to be sure ourselves. We cannot argue upon things about which we are not sure about ourselves, and we think that this is all good. No, in the name of equality, what is being promoted, this is the most dangerous thing for the humanity. And I think this is our responsibility, that we take a very educated and firm stand on those things. And we, with wisdom, with hikmah, of course, sometimes things which are legalized by law, as an institution, as an organization, sometimes in our jobs, you have to abide by them, but we have to be very clear as individual believer and collectively as our communities upon these issues. Now, if we want to preserve our deen, we have to have strong families. And if we want to have strong families, we have to learn and practice our deen. We cannot give to our children what we don't have. If my hands are empty and I tell to this brother, I give you $10, I will be making a false statement. I will not be making that statement with moral authority. That will be a hypocritical statement. So same way as an individual, first and foremost, if we don't have the full understanding and full conviction of our deen, then we cannot pass it on to our children. And same way, if we are not able to keep our family strong, if we are not able to provide that conducive environment for our children, and not only for our own children, rather the children of the whole community, whole Muslim community, our masajid and our organizations, to encourage that, to make marriage easy and that provide that conducive environment, we'll be failing ourselves. So I just want to emphasize this point that both things go hand in hand. If our families became weaker, our children don't carry this message, we are not practicing that, then just imagine that if our next generation is not there and we did not do the dawah, no people entered into Islam or no people are born into Islam, where will be faith? Of course, this deen is with Allah's deen. He will protect us, and He has promised in the book to preserve it. But as far as we are concerned, then we will not have any part in that, neither in this life and neither in the hereafter. In conclusion, I just want to mention a few things, that we don't live in isolation. We are very small minority, 1%. Actually, the latest Pew Research, which any authentic data, that only 0.81% people identify themselves openly with Islam. So we don't live in isolation world. Our families are not isolated. We live in this world. And when you are living in a society, particularly when you are a very small minority, then either you are at the receiving end or you are at the giving end. If a minority become at the receiving end, that society is very powerful. It has a lot of all those things what I am mentioning. They are already there. There are a lot of forces which are active. Now, if we don't make collective and conscious effort, first and foremost, to preserve these values, and not only do that, rather a step ahead, that we are at the giving end in the society, giving end in the dawah, giving end in the social services, then what would happen? That either you are receiving or you are at the giving end. And just a simple example to understand that if there's a pond full of very clean water, but it's at the receiving end, what will happen after one rain, two rain? All the junk, all the pollution, it will be fully polluted. It will be full of garbage because it's at the receiving end. On the other hand, a small water tap, as long as it's at the giving end, it may be small, but it's giving out clean water. It has the potential to keep itself clean. Even all its surrounding is full of filth. It has the potential to keep itself clean and maybe slowly but surely to cleanse its environment. So we as a family and collectively as the community and at the national level, we have to make sure that we are doing the work of dawah. We are doing social services in the society, that first and foremost we take care of every member of our family. We don't abandon any member of our family, regardless they accepted Islam today or they are Muslim for generation and generations, to extend their hand to someone else. Rather, we have to step up to fulfill their needs. And second, anybody in the society who is who is in need, we may not be able to fulfill all the needs, but at least we should be known as a people that they are at the giving end. That will give enough confidence to our next generation, to our communities, and our voices will be recognized, our voices will be heard, and we will be able to move our positive agenda of making a positive impact in the society. Our voices will be heard about the family issues, our voices will be heard about halal. USDA will be listening to us. Just recently, alhamdulillah, ICNA Relief, what it does, and it's not only ICNA Relief, it's your masjid, it's all the masajid, that alhamdulillah we are having a lot of food pantries. You know, that impact is not only here in the society. ICNA Relief alone served last year close to 1 million people through our food pantries, and impact was that in USDA, we were able to ensure because now our voices are stronger. We are at the giving end. And USDA accepted those basic principles of halal, and they made it as the part of their manual. And inshallah, more positive changes will come. In disaster relief, And again, I'm not talking about for ICNA Relief. It's not that whatever ICNA Relief does, it's with the help and of support of the community. And the masajid are doing in the disasters, our masajid, our community, ICNA Relief is one of those organizations. When we served one disaster, second disaster, third disaster, a time came that Muslim sensitivities, privacy, all those things were accepted by FEMA related to the Muslims. Our voices will be heard when we do these things. Same on the refugee issues. Just a few years ago, there was no voice of the Muslim community in the refugee issues. We were just at the receiving end. Muslim refugees come about their basic things. But this time, alhamdulillah, it's a service of few years that even in the bases, US bases, army bases, Quran, prayer rugs, halal food, as these things was ensured, because now alhamdulillah ICNA Relief is accepted as a resettlement agency in many places, in many states, at least 4 or 5 major states where there are large number of refugees. Because your masjid in DC, masjid in Louisiana, they are doing it, ICNA Relief itself is doing it. We are serving the refugees, so our voices are heard. So our voices will be heard about the family issues as well. In every other issue, that if we are collectively doing these efforts and we are talking about that. And it's so important that first we have the model family. We encourage our children to excel in their education, in their profession. We give them the Islamic teaching. We provide a conducive environment where they take pride in Islam. If they want to do community service, we have to have those professional organizations that where credit hours are accepted. And now these days has become very important to get admission in any Ivy League, in any accredited university, to get a good job, to get a good scholarship. It has become an unwritten curriculum to just, it's asked, it's part of the resume that how much community service you provided. So preserving family is not one thing in isolation. It's a whole package which communities we have to do together. And that effort has to be done collectively. And the last point I want to make, that we have to be very strong locally. That I mean masajid. That at the local level, our masajid, they are run according to those principles. And alhamdulillah, this is one of the, mashallah, I was talking to the imam and some of the masjid leadership, that this masjid is providing excellent services for the community, a very comprehensive manner. This masjid run on the basic principle of shura, that there's community voices. Community is the one who elect the leadership and provide the services. It's not only a building. Masajid is not just a beautiful building. School are not just a beautiful building. It is that we have the best of the staff, best of the teachers, best of the management staff, and have very well-organized services. And then nationally as well. In conclusion, I want to conclude with that we are 3,000 masajids. We are 3,000 islands. They are not connected with each other. The importance of national organizations, particularly who are providing services in this country. And those national organizations could be some organizations active in Dawah, some organization active in social services who are providing services in this country. Some organization may be just providing the conventions. They are very important that we become part of that. We are strong locally and we are connected nationally. So our voices is not the separate voices of these 3,000 islands. Rather, they are connected with each other and they have a collective voice. So this is important for the future of our generations, for future of our children, for future of our faith. And all these things are connected with each other. So with this, I conclude. I would like to hear, and not necessarily a question-answer session. I may not be able to answer our questions. Any suggestions, any comments, any ideas, whatever time we have left. I don't want to make it much longer already. It took a lot of time. But my idea was not just to give a routine lecture, rather share some of the thoughts and try to connect all the dots. So Jazakumullah khair. May Allah bless you, bless your community. If there's anything good, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All mistakes are mine. May Allah forgive me and all of us. Jazakumullah khair. So inshallah, if anybody want to add anything, any comment, if any question I'm able to answer, I will. But not necessarily I'm capable of answering everything. We'll take few minutes, and after that we conclude. We have to prepare for the prayer. Sister, wanted to say something? Can you, either you can take the mic or speak up, because mashallah, I can imagine that even there's
Assalamu alaikum. What's your advice for like young people as they grow to like start thinking about family and those dynamics like before getting married, as like young people in general?
Well, my advice means nothing. It's advice in the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, advice from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we should prepare for marriage. Now, your point is relatively, if I understand that what is the level of that preparation, we should be mentally, academically, knowledge-wise, and financially, emotionally ready for that. But that is not something we're looking for perfection, where a lot of people make mistakes. That, of course, we, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I think one good example, although people married early, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married his daughter to Sayyidina Ali when he was 25. That's a very beautiful example, that at an age, of course, he could, anybody can marry at the age of puberty, but that tells that he was at a position, according to that standard, a responsible, mature person. So I think anybody who is over here, we can finish a good college degree by the age of 21, 22. And that's a time parents and people should seriously looking into it. We should not look that, okay, I will marry when I have that much money, I should have this big house. I think that's the stage that when we should, both parents, of course, it's the decision of the individual, but parents should provide that conducive environment. Don't wait until the highest professional degree of PhD or MD is completed. That at any level, when you reasonably feel that you are prepared, but that preparation should start very early. It's a parent's responsibility to start that preparation. Even when they are looking for a spouse, they look for a spouse who is on deen, who, I don't want to go into those details, that who can be a perfect match to raise a good family. That should be the, at the very beginning. So from your early on, you, when your children as a parents, you groom them, you work hard for them to provide them a life of dignity and respect. You guide them to be successful in this life. You guide them Islamically, provide all necessary tools, connect them with the masajid, and provide all necessary tool. That's the responsibility of the parents. So by the age of 21, 22, 23, 25, it could be plus minus, that they are stable. If parent failed in the first part, if they failed to make a right decision at the time of their own marriage, if they failed when child was 4 year, 5 year, or 10 year, then that failure, that weakness will continue, and that will translate, will go to the children. Anyway, coming back again, but I think things are connected. We cannot see from a narrow window. Things are connected, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you are blessed that you have completed a professional degree, then look for a reasonable match. And I think for that, match which can be a good match to raise a good family. And Prophet ﷺ has given very clear instruction, which is that the highest level is deen. And of course, other things, a good family, and all the other good features, good looking, that all are allowed and encouraged to the best of your capability, but never wait for perfection. Perfection will be only in Jannah. Don't delay a good thing. Don't delay your prayer for the perfection and that, okay, I remember a long time ago, 1988, I came first time in US for a training in management. It was short training. Some people with the group, they prayed 5 daily prayers, but either it was lack of confidence, probably it was the first, but they made the excuse that, okay, at that time there were few masajid, and I was in Utah State University. And I think there was only very small masjid in that, there was no Muslim community. They will make that excuse because environment is not clean, so we cannot make wudu. If environment is not clean, you can make wudu on masa on socks. You have to pray in time. If there's no water, you can make masa. But prayer must be made in time. Even if you are traveling, you can pray in the bus. While sitting in deen, this is important, that what is the highest priority? Highest priority is that to get married as early as possible, to save your deen, as early as you become reasonably stable. That's it. So that every individual have to make the decision, and parents can help. But if the parents are also misguiding their children and the individual is also confused, then we'll keep delaying. But